Well, hi. Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. We have another candidate interview to bring you today. I had an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with a candidate for the Council Bluffs City Council, Cole Button, and I got a chance to talk with him. You might recognize the setting. Yeah, we went down to Bayless Park and just kind of set up camp and was able to have a wonderful conversation. And Cole talks about what his vision is for the city. And this is an opportunity for you to get to know him a little bit better. I mean, the point to doing these candidate interviews is not to pass along my views. That's not what it is. My goal with this is to be a way for the candidates to tell you a little bit about who they are. It's easier for you to make an informed decision when you know exactly who it is that you're voting for. And that's why these interviews are set up the way they are, just conversational style. And hopefully you can learn more. And today we're going to be featuring Cole Button, and that is on today's show. If you're looking to elevate your wrestling game, the best wrestler in Council Bluffs, they're the ones that you want to get a hold of. It's where champions are forged. Founded by Olympian George Ivanoff and his father, elite coach Ivan Ivanoff, the club is built on three pillars: wrestling, academics, and career. Trained with world-class coaches who produced Olympians, world champions, and national title holders. Their state-of-the-art facility at the Iowa West Fieldhouse offers programs for all ages and skill levels. So whether you're aiming for the podium or just personal growth, the Best Wrestler is your path to excellence. Visit thebestwrestler.com. Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get back to normal when you've suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke. Yesterday, owner Cindy Schmader was the host of Coffee and Context at the Council Bluffs Area Chamber of Commerce. It was great seeing her, and also great seeing all the people. And actually, I said it was yesterday. It wasn't. It was on Tuesday. That was when the event was. But Cindy, always very welcoming and very accommodating to everything that we do here. And we got to learn a little bit more about her business and why it is that she supports the community the way that she does. So if you are looking to restore your space, whether it's quality commercial or residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and surrounding area, Service Master Restore by Schmader is the one to call. Developers, engineers, and tech innovators. We've been telling you about this event, and it's going to be coming up September 30th and October 1st at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs. It's from the AIM Institute. It's their Heartland Developers Conference. For the first time, they're having it in Council Bluffs. And this has been going on for over 15 years. I think this is the 16th annual, if I remember correctly. The Heartland Developers Conference is the go-to event for Silicon Prairie developers. Keynote speakers, deep dive breakout sessions, an exhibitor hall, hands-on demos, and invaluable networking opportunities. How to register? Here's the website, hdc.aiminstitute.org. And you'll find a place to get your tickets. Hope to see you there. Well, when we come to Bayless Park, we want to make sure we pick the hottest days to do it. And we managed to find a warm and humid one today. But this is Cole Button, and he is a candidate for City Council in Council Bluffs. Thank you for coming on out and talking with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And coming out to, it's a beautiful setting out here, even if it is a little bit warm. But I know that it's obvious from your history and your background that you have a passion for public service in any way that you can do it. So, talk a little bit about your background before we get going into the candidacy part of it. What gets you sitting in this chair here today?
Yeah, sure. So basically how I came to be here is my wife and I graduated from Iowa State. I got my degree in finance. I thought that that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I worked as a financial analyst for years. I studied economics and what attracts businesses and what helps businesses grow and what brings them to a community. And I did that for several years, was very successful at it. But ultimately, I decided I wanted to do something more meaningful with my life. My dad was an Iowa police officer for about 30 years, and I decided that that was what I was truly passionate about, was public safety. So I left the banking world and took a pay cut to become a police officer. I was offered a position as a Council Bluffs police officer, and I did that for a bit. And now I'm working as a correctional officer for the Sheriff's Department. And it's a challenge there. There's a lot of problems that everybody sees that I'm surrounded by every day. You know, being not only as a patrol officer, but now working at the jail, some of the biggest things that I have to deal with every day are, the mental health problems, the substance abuse problems, the homelessness. A lot of those problems end up in the jail for a couple days and then back on the street and then back in the jail, and it just kind of cycle and repeat for a lot of them.
Well, and a lot of those problems are all intertwined.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
one is enmeshed in with the other one, and to try and separate them can be difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah, I met with the Council Bluffs Police Department's homeless outreach program. They're working hard to try to not only just find the homeless people, but to talk to them and try to identify what are the root causes of these issues, and talk to not only the homeless people themselves, but also the nonprofits, the care providers, and see what are the challenges that are causing this problem to get worse. And what a lot of their findings have been is they found that 44% of the people that they've talked to have acknowledged that they suffer from a mental illness. 62% have admitted that they have a drug or alcohol addiction, and 97% are unemployed, which I don't think anyone's surprised by that last one. And a lot of those problems, we see that come into the jail after they get arrested for one thing or another, and then we try to get them some care. We try to get them on some programs. We have Alcoholics Anonymous, we have Narcotics Anonymous, we have volunteers that come to try to connect with these people to get them the help that they need so that they can improve their situation. But I mean, a lot of them, one, you have to want to get better. That's the big thing. And two, when you're in the jail for just a couple days on a simple misdemeanor, and then you're right back out in the street, that's not enough time to get better.
No, and also, having spoken with some people that work directly with the homeless community here in town, my eyes were opened as to some of the things that they go through, such as when someone has been on the street for an extended period of time, and oftentimes years, it's a survival mentality.
Yes.
that they can get into. So if they go through a program to get them off the streets, that doesn't solve that mindset that they have had to be in for so long. So it's very, very difficult for that part to shift. I mean, I know personally, with try to make some changes in my life, takes a while before it kind of settles in. And with something as severe as homelessness and the survival mentality, it can be hard to disconnect from that and to say, okay, I'm not homeless anymore. That's not something I identify with. So it's hard.
Right. No, absolutely. And, a lot of it is a big challenge. A lot of people want a simple solution. They want what are you going to do that's going to get rid of all the homelessness in the city in the next year? And there is no simple solution. There's no one size fits all solution for this problem. It's going to take a comprehensive approach. We're going to need to coordinate with the city council, the police department's homeless outreach program, the state legislature, the nonprofits, and the mental health professionals. All of those people need to sit down together and coordinate a plan to work together to get this problem managed and curb it so that we can start seeing the numbers moving in the right direction.
Do you see that as the biggest issue facing Council Bluffs, as the reason that you are wanting to have a seat on the council? Is the homelessness the biggest issue?
It's one of the issues. There's several issues that led me to want to run for city council. Homelessness, obviously working at the jail, I see that every day. The mental health and the drug abuse problem, fixing the streets. I have so many people talking to me saying that they blew a tire on their own street in a pothole. And obviously property taxes, I worked in finances, and property taxes are out of control. My assessment has gone up over $60,000 in the last 2 years. And I know I'm sure all of your viewers have seen their property taxes go up as well. We have to have plans in place to attract, and not only attract, but also retain people to grow the population, because the population of Council Bluffs has not grown in decades.
Right.
In 2010, we were at 62,000 people. Today, we're at 62,000 people. So the population is going like this, while operating expenses keep going like this because the cost of everything goes up over time. So if you want to be able to cover your expenses like parks, police, fire, and not raise property taxes, you have to broaden that tax base so that you can lower the levy rate on everybody, so that even if your assessment is going up, if you're lowering the levy rate, then it washes out. So if we want to keep property taxes down and get them lowered, we gotta attract more people to Council Bluffs. That we need quality of life, we need green spaces, we need more entertainment options, frankly. I know there's a lot of our demographic is aging out, and we don't have a lot of young people wanting to, like my age, wanting to come and stay in Council Bluffs. And frankly, just being direct, it's because there's not a lot to do in Council Bluffs. If we want to go out for a night out, most of the time we go to Omaha because they have a lot more entertainment options. So a lot of young people end up moving to Omaha or to other cities where there's more stuff to do. And I love Council Bluffs. I want to see people stay here. I want to see them grow their families here, but we got to give them more opportunities for recreation and entertainment.
Let me, I'm going to shift gears on you here for just a second. And this is an example of how we don't do pre-interviews. I don't prepare questions. I don't have notes here. Okay. This is just a conversation. One of the things I'm very passionate about in my own life is what we focus on. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking about this the other day, that I'm not a skier, but I know that downhill skiers talk about that if you focus on the trees, you're going to hit a tree. Mm-hmm. So what I see is focusing on a solution instead of on the problem. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So obviously there's obstacles. There's always going to be problems. There will always be issues. We don't live in a utopia, never will.
Right.
But to find solutions to that and to put eyes on that, how do you do that?
Right. So you have to look at what has worked and what hasn't. What have other communities done that had similar problems? What did they do? And what has been the result? So you can learn from history so it doesn't repeat itself. So one thing that people have asked me is about, like, well, what about the fixing the roads, for example? People say, well, how come my property taxes keep going up, but the roads are still in bad condition? Why aren't they using that money to fix the roads? Well, it's because a lot of people don't understand that property taxes don't pay for road repairs. So they go for things like fire, administrative expenses, police, programs like that. The road repairs are paid through the gas tax, which we get from the state based on our population. So because our population isn't going up, then we're not getting additional funding from the state for road repairs. And we get a lot of traffic coming from Omaha that gives more wear and tear on the roads. So if we want to get our roads repaired, we got to get more funding for that, which means we got to grow the population. And in order to grow the population, we got to not only have enough places for people to live, and I'm talking apartments, duplexes, owner-occupied single-family dwellings. We got to look at all of those, and we got to find also entertainment options to attract people and keep them here, give them things to do. And if we can do that to grow the population, then we can not only broaden the tax base and lower the levy rate to get property taxes down, but we'll also get more funding from the state through the gas tax so that we can use that money to fix the roads.
You mentioned entertainment several times.
Yeah.
Is there things in mind that you would like to see here that we don't have now?
I mean, honestly, right now, it's like there's some restaurants there. We got go-karting and a movie theater. But besides that, my wife and I, whenever we're looking at what to do on a Friday night or Saturday night, most of the entertainment options are in Des Moines. And frankly, we need more of everything. We need a variety so that people have places to go, so that they have different interests that can be met at different places. So we got to look at everything. And I'd like to see more input from the public to the city council. I want to see more open discussion and transparency and more dialogue from the public to the city council. I'd like to get more opportunities for them to do that, which I would hope to do on the city council, is have more things like the legislative coffees, have where people can come to a open town hall forum and voice their concerns and give suggestions and be like, we need more of this. I want to be able to take my grandkids to this, but the nearest place to do that is Omaha. Or I used to love to do this, but it closed, so we need to bring something like that back. So we got to have not only just the city council saying this is what we need to do, but we got to be able to have elected officials who will listen to people in the public and listen to what the public says they want.
I was speaking with someone, and I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the density of the population that we have here, which is actually not very much. If you look at what I have described Council Bluffs for a while as, I believe we are the biggest small town in Iowa. That's how I look at things, because this town behaves like a small town.
It does.
But we have 62,000 people, and we have a tremendous amount of space.
We do.
When you look at such as Ankeny, Ankeny has a similar population, but it doesn't feel like a small town in
No.
Ankeny. You know, same with Sioux City. Now, Sioux City is a little bit more of a population than us, but still, that feels like a small city as opposed to what we have here.
Right.
So, you'd mentioned the housing. We don't have a lot of it. It's actually what is available, right? The vacancy rate is incredibly small.
I believe it's about 1.7%.
And that's essentially zero.
Yeah.
You know, we just, if somebody's looking, it's really, really hard to find anything. And that has driven, that's one of the reasons why property rates have gone up, rent has gone up.
Yep.
A lot of things have happened, and discretionary income has gone down because of all of that.
Yep. And, that is a big problem because, like I said, I believe based on the latest data, the vacancy rate is about 1.7%. I talked to a lot of realtors and people in housing development lines of work around Council Bluffs, and I asked them, what is it like from your perspective with the numbers on, if you're trying to sell a house to somebody? And they said, well, it used to be, there's about 250 places on average when we had a buyer come. Now it's, maybe around 90. And so the problem is, you may have a $300,000 budget and you think, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm at the place in my life where I want to find a decent single family house with a yard, and I want to buy it for $300,000, and we could raise our family, live in a nice neighborhood. And the problem is there's not a whole lot of options like that available. And then when one does come up on the market that checks your boxes and meets those requirements, you're going to be going into it against 5 or 6 other bidders, and they're going to be making full price offers, and then they're going to be going above market price. So now you end up paying $340,000 for a $300,000 house. And then the insurance companies are saying, well, your house sold for $340,000, so we're gonna insure it based on that value. And then the assessments go up because houses like that are going for more money. So then houses that aren't even for sale and the owners don't have any intention of selling them, their assessments are going up because similar homes in the area are selling for more. So now your assessment's going up. So we have to get more housing inventory. We need all of it. We need more single family inventory, more apartments, duplexes, and we got to make sure that any housing development is done strategically and that it's done in a way that protects and preserves some green spaces around Council Bluffs and protects entertainment options, so that it's not just apartments and cement and nothing else.
Do you think that our current infrastructure can handle the new housing starts and the new, if there are new apartments going in and the population actually going up? Does the infrastructure we have right now, can it handle that increase in population?
So the biggest owner of land in Council Bluffs right now is the city government. There is so much land that is available, and we have to look at, with engineers, with the Iowa Corps of Engineers, and reassess, okay, what is potentially being underutilized? Or I'm not necessarily talking about any existing business, but saying, okay, this is currently zoned for commercial, or this on the east end is, could be better utilized. So are we making the most efficient use of areas, not only like in a particular part, but all over? And we have to make sure that we're talking to the Corps of Engineers and hearing to make sure that there aren't like flood risks for things like that.
That's a big part of what
Exactly.
living where we do.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
flooding is a definite issue, and a lot of times it's completely out of our control because if if it rains a lot in
Yep.
South Dakota and Wyoming, we're going to see that water eventually make it to us.
Yes.
So that becomes, where do we put all of these new housing starts if we can do that?
Exactly.
That is not subject to the potential of a flood.
Right. And I think that any potential projects and votes have to come after discussing it with the Corps of Engineers. I wouldn't be comfortable voting on putting something somewhere that's, a flood risk if the Corps of Engineers hasn't gone in and done an assessment, because we need to know what are the flood risks, what can we do to mitigate those flood risks and keep the area safe, and how much will that cost us to do that. All of those things we would need to know before any votes happen.
Well, there's just so many moving parts involved with all of this that I know that there's no simple solution.
Right.
And let me pose this to you, or I don't think I'd be doing my job, and people would be
Sure.
wondering why I didn't ask the question. The big thing that happened this year was,
Yep.
and we were talking about Dodge Riverside potentially being repurposed and developed
Yes.
for housing and the types of things you're talking about. Where do you stand on that? Because it's at this point it's been tabled and it's not going to be discussed right now. That's what
Right.
the council decided. So what are your views on that?
So I talked to a lot of people that are in favor of it. I've talked to a lot of people that are against it. I want to hear both sides of the argument before making any decisions. But right now, I think there's too many questions that haven't been answered before voting on repurposing that area. I want to make sure that if, like I said previously, if we're going to have development in that area, which is a flood risk, we have to talk to the Corps of Engineers first. We have to know what are the options to mitigate that flooding risk and how much is that going to cost us. We need to answer all those questions before the council votes on repurposing or rezoning something for those needs. And right now I'd like to see, I also touched on earlier, is we need to have not only enough housing space, but we have to have good quality of life. We got to retain some of the green spaces. So we got to make sure that any development is done strategically and that it's done in a way that incorporates green space and protects the portion of land that was donated and offers entertainment options, not only to the residents of those buildings, but also to the entire city. So if there were apartments that were going to go up, I would like to see businesses on the ground level that could provide entertainment and more food and dining options for all the residents. But I would also like to see a lot of the green space retained so we can protect that, because if we have all these additional apartments, but we don't have the quality of life and the entertainment options, people aren't going to stay. And we got to have a combination of that in order to make it viable.
Well, I know that you have a lot of opportunities coming up to be out and to talk to the public. There's going to be events that the chamber's putting on that I'm sure you'll get an invitation to talk to folks that way. Don't know if you're doing the old-fashioned door knocking or not, but whatever it is, I know that you're going to be out there talking to folks and getting your name out, your message out that you want to pass along. So grateful that you came out here today and shared just a little bit with us. It's there's a reason I don't run for office.
Yeah.
Because it's complicated.
It is.
And there's so many different moving parts, and you solve one problem, it creates another, and in all of these different things that go in. So it's not a simple solution to anything. But at the same time, I like where we live.
I do.
I like I did a series recently on just the city parks that we have here. And well, I tell you, every place that I went, there was families, there was ball games. There was
I love the parks that we have. Bayless is beautiful.
Yeah, all of these things going on. So we have some things to hang our hat on, but that doesn't mean that we don't fix the problems that we do have.
Yep.
That's kind of the point to what it is that I do, is just give folks an opportunity to talk and hopefully have calm and reasonable conversations. We tend to get away from that when it's just strictly online, and people. Something that I've said too is that I've never seen this in a comment section on an article or anywhere, is somebody saying, wow, I never looked at it that way. I see your point.
Yep.
That
I
never
wish we
happens.
had. And I'm willing to hear both. I'm not one of the people that if you disagree with me, I'm not going to hear you out or I'm not going to listen to what you say. I'm going to hear both sides of the argument. If you might have information that I haven't heard yet. So you might know something that I don't. And if our elected officials want to make informed decisions, they have to listen not only to the people that agree with them, but to the people that disagree with them. And they have to be willing to have those open dialogues, to have that discussion. I think we need more transparency from the city like that.
All right, well, let me put that theory to the test then. I'm a Hawkeye fan.
Yep. I went to Iowa State. I'm a Cyclone.
I almost came out here with a Hawkeye shirt on. That might have started the conversation completely.
If it makes you feel any better, both of my parents went to Iowa.
Yeah.
I ended up going to Iowa State. So
I'm sure that sat well at Thanksgiving dinner.
One of us always calls the other after the Iowa State game to brag.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's one thing that we can both agree on, and that is how we don't like the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
That's right.
Cole Button, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Great for coming out.
If anybody wants to learn more about my campaign or get in touch with me, you can check out my website. It's www.cbforcb.com. My contact information's on there. You can reach out to me directly. I also give out my cell phone, my personal cell, to anybody who wants it. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, they can do so very easily. I'm going to be very open, very easy to contact. And if anybody wants to learn more about me, feel free. I'd love to sit down and talk with you.
There you go. Cole Button, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you out there on the road.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet.
More candidate conversations coming up very, very soon. We'll let you know as they approach, and we've got more city council candidates to talk to, mayoral candidates to talk to, and if you are running for office in Council Bluffs or Pottawatomie County, let me know. I'd love to have you on the show, and it's just a way for you to sit down and talk, and just like we did with Cole. No judgment. I'm not here to pass on my views or try to influence anybody with this show. It is just a way for you to be able to talk to folks in your own voice and let them know who you are, and hope to hear from you again soon. Since 1870, Avela Bank has been providing Iowans with high-quality financial products and services to fit their needs: loans, business accounts, saving money for a trip, personal checking accounts. Avela's qualified bankers can handle all of that and a lot more. Go to avela.bank. That is their website. And Just Sue Creative, speaking of websites, she is a master at building them. Website design, search engine optimization, content creation, marketing, everything you need to take your company to the next level. Sue has a passion for small businesses, helping them thrive in a digital world. So go to her website, justsuecreative.com. There you're going to find a button that says free consultation. Click on that and set up a meeting with Sue and find out how she can help your business. That's going to wrap things up on this Thursday. Don't forget the farmers market going on in Council Bluffs. Gets started at 4:30, runs to 7:30 along First Avenue, north side of Bayless Park, and I'm looking forward to another great event today. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.